Hello and welcome to News Morning here on New Day on TV3. My name is Beatrice Sedu. Coming up in the next few minutes. President John Mahama approves new appointments and reassignments as part of a reorganization of the National Security Council Secretariat. Also on the program this morning, Samuel Latachia, lead counsel for Kwabena Duboahin, says he will not show up in court despite an order for him to attend the case during the legal vacation. And much later on the program, Electoral Commission to review CI 127 to strengthen results transmission and management ahead of future elections. My name is Beatrice Sedu. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Samuel Latachia, the lead counsel for former National Signals Bureau Director Kwabena Duboahin, says that he will not show up in court despite an order for him to attend the case during the legal vacation. Earlier, the High Court gave Kwabena Duboahin and his wife a 6-day ultimatum to produce their lawyer or risk conducting the cross-examination of the prosecution witness. Lord Edwasari has the rest of the story.
Lawyers of the former National Signals Bureau Director Kwabena Duboahin failed to show up in court on Tuesday, August 11, for the continuation of the trial. Lead counsel Samuel Latachia on Wednesday, August 5, petitioned the Chief Justice to withdraw the warrant issued to the court to sit during the legal vacation, citing unavailability of the defense lawyers. When the case was called, Kwabena Duboahin informed the court that he was oblivious of the whereabouts of his lead counsel, adding that he was not sure Latachia was in the jurisdiction. He pleaded with the court to indulge them and grant them time in order to touch base with his lawyers. But Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Remsai indicated that he had communicated with Samuel Latachia and he had been categorical that he would not show up for the case. He subsequently prayed the courts to proceed with the case. The presiding judge, however, disagreed. Justice Achibonga maintained that it would be unfair to the accused persons if the case progressed in the absence of the lawyers. He therefore ordered the accused persons to show up with their lawyers in 6 days or risk continuing the cross-examination of the prosecution's witness. He further ordered that failure for the lawyers to show up would result in the discharge of the witness and progression of the case. Samuel Latachia, however, maintains he will not appear for the court hearing.
I'm not going to court at all. But what is informing that? Why should a judge in a very technical case of this nature, that a man's lawyer is on vacation and the judge is saying that if your lawyer doesn't come, go and find another lawyer. But he's saying that you come and stand there and cross-examine. How can a lay person, cross-examine in such a matter? You are asking a carpenter to go and do a surgery. Is that how it's done?
Then go to court.
For what? For what? Why should I go to court? What is the meaning of legal vacation?
Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Remsai dispelled assertions of selective hearing of cases.
There are 31 judges sitting throughout Ghana during the legal vacation. Greater Accra alone has about 11 judges sitting as legal vacation. So why is counsel insisting that it is only these 2 cases that he is handling that are for the legal vacation? The evidence on record shows that there are other cases being heard in as many as 31 courts throughout the country. So clearly, there is no basis for these complaints. And the allegation that there are some cases that have been specified as ambulance cases is neither here nor there.
The case has since been adjourned to August 17 for continuation. Lord Edwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
And still at the courts, the Attorney General and Minister for Justice has urged the High Court to dismiss the bail application pending the appeal against the 20-year jail term imposed on NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Wontumi. Lawyers for Chairman Wontumi have challenged that 20-year jail term for illegal mining-related offences on his Samir Boy concession. In his affidavit in opposition to the bail pending appeal, the Attorney General, Dominic Kayene, said that Wuntumi's appeal has no reasonable prospect of success and therefore does not provide sufficient grounds for his release from custody. The document further said that, among other things, that there are no special circumstances to admit the application. The Attorney General added that the convict is a flight risk who will flee the jurisdiction given his other pending cases. The defense lawyers are expected to move the motion on the 19th of August at the High Court. In a separate development, lead counsel for former NPA CEO Mustafa Abdul Hamid has questioned the notion behind the specialized court hearing substantive cases during the legal vacation after the High Court refused a letter by some of the accused persons for an adjournment. The 291 million National Petroleum Authority trial resumed after the Supreme Court upheld the OSP's prosecutorial powers after it was challenged by a private legal practitioner. Lord Edwasari again.
When the case was called, the presiding judge, Justice Francis Apangabunub Achibonga, indicated that lawyers of 4 of the accused persons had submitted a letter requesting an adjournment. He explained that the defense counsel of the 4th, 5th, 7th and 8th accused persons had cited travel plans outside the jurisdiction to attend to pressing personal commitments during the vacation. As a result, they were pleading to have the case adjourned to October, but the presiding judge indicated that the court would continue to sit and conduct hearings as directed until the warrant was revoked by the Chief Justice. He further averred that the law firms of the accused persons ought to have other lawyers present at all times if they were going to travel out of the jurisdiction. Justice Achibonga then refused the prayer for adjournment and ordered that if by August 17 the accused persons are unrepresented by the lawyers, the court would proceed with the case. Lead counsel for Mustafa Abdulhamid, the former NPA CEO, drew the court's attention to a petition to the Chief Justice over their inability to attend proceedings during the legal vacation. He indicated that they were awaiting the response of the Chief Justice and would not have attended Tuesday's hearing, but for the enormous respect for the court. The case has since been adjourned to August 18 for continuation of the case management conference. Joseph Benka, lead counsel for Mustafa Hamid, spoke after proceedings.
With all respect, it's novel.
Okay.
Especially so when you realize that the cases that are pending in these 2 courts are all of a political nature. Because respectfully, we have so many cases, some of them 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, very serious cases, murder, land matters, civil litigation, criminal litigation. So many cases, very important cases that have been in the shelves for years. But these cases started, the majority of them started a year ago.
Lord Edwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, the Electoral Commission says that it is taking steps to strengthen the transmission and management of election results ahead of future elections. The Commission says it will do this by reviewing Constitutional Instrument 127, CI 127, which regulates the conduct of elections in Ghana. The EC's Director of Electoral Services, Samuel Dotokwa, disclosed this at an inter-party dialogue organized by the National Peace Council in Accra earlier.
There were some issues, and Commission decided that going forward, there is the need to address some of the challenges that we encountered. So in addressing some of these challenges, we have to come out with certain policies and plans to ensure that we are not going to entertain what happened in 2024. And the first thing that we have to do, if we look at collation centers and the way and manner people disrupted ballot papers, resource forms, because at that time we were not having any portal where the scan results can be sent. So going forward, Commission has plans in place to ensure that we have to ensure that scan results will be sent to a dedicated portal. And when that thing happens, there is a need to review the CI 127, which regulates the conduct of general elections. That's why I did mention that once the Commission has decided or has finalized the preparation of the CI or the review of the CI, we are going to invite the political parties, and they will also come out with their input as far as whatever we want to do. But one thing that we should bear in mind is that the physical results will still be maintained, but this one will be sent as administrative measure so that in case there is any issue, we can resort to that one to ensure that we will not encounter the challenges that we encountered in 2024.
And speaking of political parties, the National Peace Council says there is a need for political parties to have a common focus to protect the peace of the country. Speaking at an inter-party dialogue, the chairman of the council, Most Reverend Emmanuel Kofi-Fianu, said that political parties and their supporters must be mindful of the inflammatory language as the country strikes hard to sustain its peace and democracy.
The dialogue brought together political parties, civil society organizations and development partners to reflect on how Ghana can strengthen its democratic institutions and sustain the peace it has enjoyed. Speaking on the state of the country's peace, board chairman of the National Peace Council, Most Reverend Emmanuel Kofi-Fianu, explained that Ghana continues to be a peaceful country. However, there are still some gaps that need to be closed.
We feel we all need to put Ghana first, because one of the areas of concern, you all agree, is the inflammatory language or posts that we see, because not everybody can take them lightly, or not everybody analyzes things to see what exactly to take out of it, so it can be provocative. My hope is the various political representatives who were here today, when they go back, they will bring down this message to their foot soldiers and to their constituencies.
Resident representative of the United Nations Development Programme commended Ghana's record of peace, but called for greater inclusion of women in political decision-making and processes.
My plea to Ghanaian leadership, society here, political parties, is an intentional, deliberate steer towards inclusion, including more women in the political process, in political party membership, and eventually as candidates in elections. And hopefully we will change the 14% number that we have in Parliament.
Meanwhile, Program Manager for Security and Governance at CDD Ghana, Paul Nanakwabna Abrampa has said the nature of electoral violence is changing and is now being fueled by propaganda and inflammatory messaging.
The political frictions have extended to post-election governance. It stores governance, it diverts attention and the focus, where citizens should be talking about development trajectory, peace in the country, suggesting alternatives for improvement of livelihoods. We'll be concentrating on personal assassination attacks and criticisms, negative ones for that matter, which don't inure any better benefits for our country.
The National Peace Council says sustained dialogue among political actors remains critical to building trust, reducing tensions and ensuring that Ghana's democratic gains are protected beyond elections period.
In a related development, Ghana's youth are being challenged to move beyond complaints and actively create solutions to the country's problems. The Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment, George Opariado, says young people must take advantage of technology, build businesses and develop skills that can translate into real economic opportunities.
For a generation growing up with smartphones, artificial intelligence, and limitless access to information, the opportunities are enormous. But the youth minister says young people must do more than consume digital content. He wants them to turn technology into a tool for innovation, entrepreneurship, and job creation.
Everybody in this room can leverage on the digital age to find meaningful employment. But are we ready to take over, to take advantage? All you need is data in a mobile phone and you can start earning money. But what are we turning it into? We take our phones and the first thing we do is to insult our leaders. When that same minute, that same data you are using, you can use it to generate revenue for yourself. You can use it to create employment for yourself.
But government also admits that young people cannot live on potential alone.
You cannot tell a young person that they are the future whilst they have no opportunity to earn a decent living. That is why the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment is working through its agencies to build pathways for young people.
The call for stronger investment in youth development was echoed by the Oforikrom Member of Parliament, Michael Edu.
In 2026, for the first time, the District Assembly's Common Fund made no allocation to the National Youth Authority NYE agencies. This is a sharp drop from the 5% and 10% shares these two agencies used to receive in earlier years. As a committee, we take this matter seriously, and I wish to use this platform to commit publicly to pushing for the full restoration of these statutory allocations.
Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority, Osman Ayariga, wants young people to use the digital tools at their disposal to create rather than simply consume.
Every generation has faced difficulties. What sets your generation apart is that you have access to tools, knowledge, technology, global networks, creative platforms, and the ability to turn an idea into something real, fast, and meet or touch the globe. So don't use your phone only to watch other people's build. Use it to build.
And as Ghana marks International Youth Day, the message from the conference is that the choices the youth make today will shape the country's next chapter.
Ibrahim Abubakar brought us that report from the Ashanti region. President John Mahama has approved new appointments and reassignments as part of reorganization of the National Security Secretariat. Now, the changes affect key positions in operations, intelligence, logistics, and special investigations. A statement signed by spokesperson to the President, Minister Government Communications, Felix Kwachiofosu, said that these appointments and reassignments take immediate effect, and we're already showing them on your screens. DCOP retired Peter Indekugri, who has been appointed as officer in charge of Special Investigations Unit. We also do have Faustina Efebwedi, who is officer in charge Human Security Development. Yao Donko, former National Security Coordinator, now to Director of Intelligence and Research Office of the National Security Advisor. Major Retired General William Ayamdo, Deputy National Security Coordinator, Operations. There you have it with the appointments and reassignments, and that's all for News Morning here on New Day on TV3. My name is Beatrice Edu. Thank you very much for staying with us on the program. Do continue with us on New Day.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabedim.
Madam, give me
Yeah, because it's too early to be going to Makona. But however it is, please be blessed as always.
Yeah.
And others may be in a more deadly or bad situation than you are, but once you have life, you know that a lot can be achieved irrespective. Many of you also celebrating your birthday. Let me say good morning to Edmond Combat. He's the managing director of the Tema Oil Refinery. And also, we have a number of individuals in the Tema Oil Refinery who tend to do great well. Haji Mustafa, so you're the deputy. But good morning to you now.
Good morning, Roland. I like your outfit.
Thank
and
you.
You're
Thank
twinning
you.
with Beatrice.
Yeah.
I thought we had stopped the thing where we make private phone calls to each other and decide on colors without calling one other person.
The truth is that we never call each other.
Really?
Yeah, but the truth is that we never call each other until it's something important.
Yeah, like deciding to wear green and leaving me out.
Yeah, it just happened.
Anyway,
yeah,
permits me.
It looks good on there.
Roland permits me. Beatrice permits me. From now to the 5th of September, I have to send greetings to my people in Teshin as we celebrate Homo War, which began on Monday. We're going all the way to the 5th of September. It will mean Afio. What's the Agwabene? What trashy? I love the Dinko Akaba for a what famo ni washere ni noya kesmomo keku me famo afi wono cha mi mania blau. Good morning to Israel Ajete Ochema, the MCE for Leisure Kuku. Good morning, Risni Amakoye, Assembly Member Triple Central. Good morning, Honorable Lampard, Honorable Farouk, and all of you for the good work you're doing preaching the message of peace. In Teshin yesterday, I'd like to commend the youth of Teshin, especially 50, the group called 50 Cents, who arrested a young man who stole a mobile phone during Pashimo. So one of the unfortunate news stories we hear during Pashimo is that there are people who snatch mobile phones. This year, the youth, together with the assembly, have decided that they themselves will arrest their brothers and sisters who steal phones and snatch phones. Yesterday, 2 of them were arrested and handed, I know one was handed over to the police. The other one is still at large from the last time I checked. And so know that these arrests are happening in the community, and so don't come and do any petty theft and thievery during this season. Afi. Beatrice.
Afi.
She said Afi.
How should I respond to that?
Afi, anybody now.
Okay. I'll learn that.
Afi, say Afi.
Afi.
Aya. Ni. Eba. Ni nawo.
Afi, aya, ni, eba, ni nawo.
Yeah.
Okay, I got that.
Yeah, you got
it.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
I was watching your interview with the young lady, the UDS student.
Yes.
I think you conducted it on Monday.
Yes.
Yes. So we watched it yesterday, and I saw that she's working as a head porter while still a student at UDS, which is in the north.
Yes.
How is she able to do this?
I mean, I was just so impressed. So originally she comes from Elembele. The Elembele. Wale constituency, and yet her school is in Tamale, the UDS branch, and so every vacation she has to come down to Accra just to indulge in the Kaya business, just so she can get some extra money. And apparently she's been doing that since she finished junior high school. And I was actually very impressed because you remember that prior to that, on Monday, we had done the live from the Malamata market where we spoke to a number of them, finding out why they were in Accra, and a number of them telling stories of their farms being affected because of climate change. And we decided to go to Accra Central, particularly to do. And then we found her, I think she had just worked early in the morning, so she was just tired sitting down there. And then we just, chanced upon her, and she told her story. And I mean, it's for me, it's a story of determination. Somebody who is determined to finish a particular course and has been doing this since junior high school, just to ensure that whatever vision she has, she won't say that because my parents don't have enough, I have to just abandon that. And so every vacation she's making this trip just to get extra money. And we've had a lot of people reacting to this.
How old is she?
She didn't want to disclose her age necessarily, but yes, she said that she's been doing this since junior high school.
And what are her dreams? What does she hope to be in future?
And she talked about studying food science. She wants to use that, like, I asked her that specific question. She says she wants to work everywhere. So anywhere that she would think that her course will be very relevant in ensuring that. So she explained that the food science is basically finding nutrients in foods and ensuring that what we are ingesting doesn't harm our bodies, and that's her interest. So wherever that she would be able to contribute her knowledge to supporting the quality of our food, she would.
And I saw that you also asked about the Bagri Dam spillage.
Yes.
And how it affects them.
Yes, she said it doesn't affect them every year, but it still has negative impacts on them. But I think the main problem is the rain patterns. And she was giving the example of, for instance, they normally expect the rains around March. And if it comes July, thereabouts, it delays the planting time and everything just delays. And sometimes it affects even what they plan to grow. And eventually they lose money.
And on water, she also talked about even getting water for their domestic needs.
Yes, so aside from the natural or the weather patterns that they're having, they're also having challenges with water. They don't seem to have potable water in their community. And so that's also a big challenge. And she kept repeating it, a big challenge that they think they need to solve. So aside from the main thing, which, they need to thrive economically, they're also having to daily think about basic commodity like water for basic daily activities. So that seems to be like a really big challenge that they are having to deal with up north, yes.
Did you get the indication that her situation is unique as a university student who comes to Accra to work as a Kayayo?
That is what I got, because a lot of them don't seem to go beyond, because I met one who I think had just finished with junior high school, and that was at Malamata. And if you watched it, she was the only young lady who spoke English, and she said that she had advanced to that level. So that's like the highest I have seen. And that's why I was very impressed that somebody could be that determined to start this from JHS up onto, and she said she was at level 200 UDS. And she seemed to suggest that she'll continue to do that until she has enough money to be able to finish her course and achieve her dreams. Yes.
That's impressive.
Well, it's also important for all of us to put this in perspective.
Yeah.
And apart from just the very issues of poverty and livelihood, it's also because the environment needs to thrive. Yeah. And once the vegetative environment is being affected by the state of the climate, it also means that we have to mainstream the conversation. We were there because we have this big event coming off this morning. Yeah. And it's under the auspices of making sure that we're able to also contribute when it comes to discussions on climate change. And invariably, from 10 a.m. we'll be at the Akayet Hotel. It's in the Upper East Regional Capital of Bolgatanga. And it's themed Climate-Driven Migration and its impact in Ghana's Upper East region. And particularly to get to know that this lady or young student comes from Wale Wale, which is in the Northeast region. Yes. And before now, also would have been the same enclave, talking about the half of this country to the top end of this country, where because of the state of land, the effects of the climate on the ability of the land to be arable and produce and affect economic livelihoods, we don't have the right sort of resources for people in the northern half of the country to be able to spread enough wealth or distribution of resources among themselves, apart from the allocation from central government. And as a result of that, young people then are driven beyond the basic needs to go fend for themselves down south. Yes. And I think that should be a bigger conversation in all this. And I think that your interaction also posits this in a better perspective for all of us.
Yes, yes. And, yes, we're talking about the young people, but it will interest you to know that even adults are equally leaving their farms because they feel that the challenges are so huge and they are making losses rather than gains. So they prefer, like a few others that we spoke to, they come here, they also make some monies, and they talked about not even having sufficient funds to buy the tools and other stuff that they need, like spray. I remember they mentioning these items, just so they're able to protect even the small farms that they have. Because what is the essence of doing business or being involved in something when you keep losing and you don't even have the necessary funds to invest in them? So it's a big challenge that really, I do hope that at the end of today's conversation, we'll be able to have, strong measures that will deal with it, help, especially those who are growing up to have better lives and hope for the future. And for those who are also involved, because we need the farmers, and look at what they are involved in. We need them to be able to stay there and have sustained or sustainable farms, just so we're able to, you know, have food sufficiency, as it were, and food security.
And the regional minister has described this issue of climate change as the biggest threat now to our socio-economic development as a country, especially for our brothers and sisters up north. Prolonged seasons of dryness, unpredictable weather conditions is preventing farm activity from thriving the way it used to. Because you don't even know when the planting season is supposed to begin. Because these seasons are pegged to the rain pattern and when rains are expected, when dry seasons are expected. Now, because of climate change, there are no real predictable seasons anymore. The rains come when they come. They don't come for as long as they expected up north. It's rather unfortunate that here we're getting, or we've had longer rains which have been destructive actually to lives and property. But up north and other farming areas, they are not getting enough rain. The season of dryness is prolonged. And even when the rains do come, they are not as predictable as they used to be. And so we are not able to plant at the time that we know is proper to plant in order to yield the harvest which is expected. And so today's conversation will look at some of these things and how we as a people can contribute towards a reduction in this problem. This conversation started years ago.
Yes.
I got actively interested during COVID. When I learned about the GCIC, the Climate Change Innovation Center, which was situated at Ashesi University, and all the things that they were doing and advising that we do, including the reduction in felling of trees, all right, in areas where we've had trees that have lived for many years, forest areas with forest cover, that we are now, literally shaving the surface of the earth to put up fancy buildings without replacing them. There used to be, I don't know if it was a policy or
well, we're planting trees across.
Yes. Are we still planting?
But even recently, I think about, was it maybe 3-4 years ago, we started that we're planting trees across, like any tree.
Not 3-4 years. Yes. I think it's been almost like 6 years.
Okay.
7 years ago.
We should be able to do that. But linked directly to this, when you talk about dry seasons, is also the spilling of the Bagri Dam. And I think 3 days ago, we talked about the Tolon as well, and why for many years the conversation has been, why are we wasting this water? Can we store it? Because in other jurisdictions, they don't necessarily depend on weather patterns to plant and all of that. So if our problem is the dryness of the weather or not having regular rain patterns, we should be able to store the water that we're wasting, just so during the period that we think we have to plant, and the period is dry, we can use that water for irrigation and every purposes. Time we have our cycles fulfilled. But I mean, it's a conversation that we've had year after year. We seem to know what we need to do, but we're not doing what we have to do.
It's an annual headline we look forward to.
Yes.
The spillage of the Bagri Dam. Our brothers and sisters along the White Volta have to start packing bag and baggage to relocate for some time and hope that the spillage doesn't destroy too much of their property, which it does. Every year, and yesterday, Roland, you were talking about a possible engineering solution to the problem, constructing maybe another dam to receive the water that will be spilled so it can be preserved, like Beatrice is saying.
I was told that has been on the table, and if that is done, it also means that it's in a position to be part of the general irrigation system that could also contribute to all year-round farming for various crops across the periods of the farming season for the year. It hasn't been done yet. It's a money problem, but beyond that also is the will. And
is it a money problem or a priority problem?
Or a lack of political will?
Maybe a priority problem.
Yeah.
So it's a conversation we need to have. We've had, is it One Village, One Dam, etc., and some of those initiatives before. So I think that we all bear testament to the fact that whatever solutions that there are to improve the various thematic issues that we tend to raise, we have the solutions on paper. Indeed, for decades, we regurgitate that in our lessons in school, from childhood or primary to the topmost of all the educational ladder that we have in Ghana. The concern is, why haven't we been able to do it? And so when do we intend then? Because that should be the conversation to do it. And it's very important for all of us to
for me, one of the
that.
sad parts, or the saddest part of this, is the farmers who are having to lose almost every year. Some of them would have to start all over again. It's like every year there's a cycle. Last week we talked about how some of these farmers are already harvesting their crops. They are not ready for harvest yet, but they don't want to lose totally. So let me harvest what I can get before the flood waters hit my farm. And so it's almost like every time they're having to start over again, the farms getting inundated, and, you know, having, like you said, now having to move up north, always, going to higher grounds, always packing their luggages just because they know this is going to happen.
Every year.
Yes. And recently, again, we had that conversation when there was the issue about tomatoes from Burkina Faso, and there were, again, numerous calls. Why can't we plant our own tomatoes? People have argued about the quality of our tomatoes, that it's watery, whilst that of Burkina Faso is solid and is more fleshier, as it were. But again, we have the land, or that kind of soil, as it were, where if we use technology, we'll be able to plant our own stuff, because we're importing and spending a lot of money on. So we seem to have really the solutions on the ground, but again,
we have the solutions on paper.
Yes, but
implementation has always been a challenge.
And we don't implement it.
Yeah, implementation has always been a challenge. But anyway, we will now put out our WhatsApp number for this morning segment and invite you to join us on talk about these matters that we've put forward. One, the spillage of the Bagri Dam, the annual spillage of the Bagri Dam, and the effects on the people who live along the White Volta, the many effects on the people, effects to property, livelihood, distraction in the course of life, education for the children, among other things, and a permanent solution to the problem, if any. If you live in those areas, we'll be happy to hear from you. And also to our brothers and sisters up north who are watching us this morning, good morning to all of you. We have shown you a story about how climate change is affecting the socioeconomic lives of the people in the north. If you're watching us this morning, we'd like to hear from you. Have these changes in weather patterns, among other things, affected your farming business, if you're a farmer, or whatever you do, which depends on the weather or the weather affects? Let us know. Send us a message. We're going to, our WhatsApp line is currently on the screen. We would like to hear from you. You're watching TV3 Newday. It's now time for This Morning.
The White Volta separates several communities in the Talensi district from some communities in the northeast region. Transportation across the White Volta becomes difficult during the rainy season and whenever the Bagri Dam is spilled, often leaving residents stranded for days. Access to essential social services, including healthcare and education, is also affected by the flooding. Farmers find it difficult to transport their harvested crops to communities beyond the river, especially during periods of Bagri Dam spillage. The assembly member for the Datuko electoral area, Ayariga Mahamoud, explains the ordeals residents in these communities go through during the floods.
This is an individual or a chief who has donated this to the people. So we're appealing to government to come to our aid in more of this kind of support. People around the communities and along this bank were aware that today the Bagri people will open their dam. So we are patiently waiting and monitoring the system, and as of now, actually, the water level has started rising up.
It is in response to these challenges that the chief of the Gari, Naba Alhaji Ibrahim Borebong, has procured a 15-capacity passenger boat to assist residents in safely traveling between communities on both sides of the White Volta. Ayariga Mahmoud expressed appreciation to the chief of the Gari for providing the boat. Some elders of the Digari community also spoke about the impact of the boat.
The Bagre Dam spillage is a nightmare for us, and we lose our properties, including farmlands. This boat will help us travel across the river more easily.
Once on the Sebanya, Mampurus and Changambaza, Langvinsi, Bangu, Manga, Samni, Tumzaya de la Nyarwa Afani.
This situation has affected social services because government workers refuse postings to our communities due to the lack of access to the other communities. Residents say they are fully prepared for the expected arrival of flood waters from the Bagre Dam as NADMO intensifies sensitization efforts across flood-prone communities.
And you're still on this morning's segment. Yes, we're talking to you about the spillage of the Bagre Dam. And over the last few days, of course, we've been telling you about how farmers and those who live in and along the white water have been preparing just to move upstream and to ensure that their lives and properties are equally protected. And so if you're watching us from any of the areas normally affected by the spillage of the Bagre Dam, let us know, and also the situation and what is being done about ensuring that your lives and properties are protected. A number of you have already sent in your messages. Very shortly, we'll be going through all of them and to try and get an understanding of your issues. But we do have our correspondent on the line with us, Tanko. Tanko, if you can hear us, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Tanko, tell us where exactly you are this morning, what the situation is currently.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm still in Boga. Yesterday, I was at the communities along the Wild Water that is between Upper East Region and then the North East Region. That is Lungu and its surroundings, and then in the Kanasi district, and then Bumbio, Samni, and the other adjoining communities in the North East Region. Yesterday, the chief of Bidari procured the canoe that is a 50 capacity passenger canoe for the two communities, because that is the only channel in which they can, cross from one place to the other, and that is the white water, the white water, because it takes only about 30 minutes for them to get to Upper East or get to North East Region, instead of taking the whole day going through Boga, through Walawale, through the other routes from that side of the Northeast Region to the Upper Region. That happened even during the dry season. That's the only channel in which these communities can have access. That is through the white water. So the bigger chief studies white that no, this time around, with the spirit of the Bagre Dam, it will be very, very difficult for them to even cross. So why not get a bigger passenger boat that will see them? So that is what happened yesterday. The two communities were very excited. So yesterday they told me that there were trees around, which is about 7 feet, 8 feet around the river. They told me that when the planning happens, all those trees will be damaged. I want to be able to see them. So the bigger boats will help, else most of them will not be able to cross. That it affects social activities like education, health, workers, that is health workers and teachers are only pushing to this area because of the access to the two communities.
Tanko, the videos you've sent us, a number of the people are not in life jackets. Can you explain why that is the situation when they need to be able to even protect their lives whilst they're on the boat?
Yes, thank you very much. Yesterday I raised that issue. Yesterday there were only 2 jackets that was given to myself and my colleague. The 2 that the 2 jackets that we didn't give us was the one given to them last year by the regional NADMO office in Boga here. So that is that challenge. But according to the Homeland, that's Ayanga of the people in the area, he said that he has spoken with the legal chief about it, and the legal chief is currently in Accra working hard to get those jackets. But he has also talking to the NADMO officials, and they said they lack those resources. Even they themselves, most of the NADMO officers are lacking these life jackets. But the legal chief says he will do work hard to see if we can get them, and in addition to the book that he has given. So yesterday, so I told them how we manage to that we did it for a long time, and then they are farmers, they are fishermen, and they are swimmers. So if anything happens, they know the river goes over. I said no, they need to save themselves. They said yes, it's true, but the life jackets are not there, and they cannot also stay alone when they have to cross over. So it's the lack of jackets that is affecting them, but they are okay with it according to them because it's part of them.
All right, Tanko, we know that the Ghana Maritime Authority launched an initiative called Life Jackets for Safety. The Life Jackets for Safety initiative, where all communities along inland waterways were provided life jackets. And there's actually a rule: no life jacket, no travel. I don't know whether this has come to you, and whether any life jackets have been provided, or even if you are aware of this initiative at all.
No, for the initiative, myself, I'm not fully aware, but I heard of it. But as far as these communities are concerned, I don't think they are working any of these life jackets as part of this project. Because, like I said earlier, that even yesterday when we crossed to Google, that's the location, the chief of Google was concerned, was like how possible is it that the other community that is unique in the upper region are having even 2 jackets when they don't have the assemblyman to the area, because he was accusing the new assemblyman of having 2 jackets that they heard that he got, like what you are saying, that they heard he got jackets and he has refused to give them. So, no, even this one that you are talking about, last year it was when the regional minister visited the area and coordinated then the office that they gave them when they were leaving. So, because that is information that has been going around, and then the regional chiefs around the white voter thought that there was kind of land defense that were distributed. Until yesterday that I knew that these communities don't even have one life jacket, because they are using the white voter almost every second, and they don't have life jacket. So today, this issue came up when we went to the office to interact with the Google chief that have some new aspect around the communities. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the only true jacket that these residents are having around that stretch, which has a lot of communities surrounding the white voter.
Tanko, per the announcement that came in earlier, the spillage was supposed to have taken place yesterday. What is the situation? Do you know?
Yes, yesterday, information reaching NADMO indicates that the water level is not up to the village level. So since yesterday, we have not heard any information from NADMO yet. So, as far as the spillage is concerned, it has not been spilled. For it has been spilled in photograph. Made that announcement. As now, about that information of the spillage, after yesterday, the water has not been spilled. But the rivers are increasing because of the rain that is happening currently, but not because of the Bagre Dam. As far as this is concerned, it has not been spilled yet.
Do we have people still moving to higher grounds as of this morning, or the people who are supposed to move have already moved as they try to protect themselves ahead of the spillage?
Yes, as far as the relocation of residents and farmers, it's happening almost every day. Yesterday when we went to the areas, none of them is just closer. I met a lot of people on motorbikes with their children, and then their luggages crossing to the other side of they were crossing to the Samlin Mountain. Yesterday I saw a lot of them going up. I thought maybe they were. I was told that they are still moving upward, because when we went yesterday, it was even about 500 to 700 meters from the river. But the assemblyman told me that when we were yesterday, when the water comes, it's going to be submerged. So I was surprised, because it's kind of difficult. So people are moving. Even yesterday when we were, I thought it was even safe. People are still moving to the higher grounds. So as far as I'm concerned, people are still going because they know the effect of it. Especially that area when the Bagre Dam is still in Saturday.
All right, thank you very much. Tanko Mohammed, who is our correspondent in the Upper East region, bringing us update on the spillage of the expected spillage of the Bagre Dam. A number of you, like I said, have already sent in your messages. Let me read about two here, and then we'll cross over to Na, who is on the dashboard to bring us a bit more of the messages you've sent us. Bonti Benjamin says, Beatrice, can't the government set aside funds to relocate those who live in such areas to a comfortable location than the annual ritual of NADMO relief items whenever such an incident occurs up north? Let's prioritize the lives and welfare of the people. Peter T says, good morning, Roland, Na, and Beatrice. My name is Alaji Peter T from Shukura. You guys always look splendid in your physical appearance. Thank you. He says, on the more serious note, I think most of these Kayayes found themselves in this category of job as a result of poor parental guidance and their inability to meet the financial demands of these vulnerable students. Successive governments have failed to invest into poverty rates of these children, and these are the results today. And then says my regards to a number of people. Thank you very much for sending in your messages. Now, I know you've got more there.
Yes, we've got so many messages coming in on the issue of the Bagre Dam spillage, as well as the young lady you spoke to yesterday, the student from UDS. Let's get into it. So this one says, good morning, Now, it's unfortunate that in the 21st century, Ghana is still importing tomatoes from Sahel countries like Burkina Faso. With so many water bodies in the north, the construction of the Palugu Dam is the panacea of the effects of the spillage of the Bagre Dam. Where is the dam Baumia claimed is the signature project of the NPP in the north? President Mahama and the NDC should investigate this claim. And if it is true that monies were paid for the construction of the Palugu Dam, then action should be taken. And that's from Mark Doe, texting us from Alajo. This one says, good morning, Roland 9 Beatrice. My name is Alaji Peter T from Shukura.
I think that's what I just read.
Yes, you have just read that one.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go on to this one. Good morning, New Day crew. A lawyer or body of lawyers cannot determine how court proceedings should go. The law is the law. Okay, I'm guessing this is coming on the back of some of the stories that she brought us during the news this morning on legal vacations. Good morning, Roland. My name is Sulemana. You see, the spillage of the Bagre Dam, the spillage of water from Kumbugu Dalong or whatever dam in the Tamale enclave they call it. My area is called Kukuo, along the airport road. It's over months now and our taps aren't flowing. Authorities are wasting this water instead of distributing it to communities within the city and its environs. Roland, please, does this make sense? Okay. Roland, Beatrice, and Na, you guys are doing wonderful things for Mother Ghana. God bless you. However, I pray you hammer seriously the UDS student who's working as a kayo in order to take care of herself and school. And I'm humbly appealing to anyone who can help this young lady realize her dreams. Good morning, and that's from Kofi Annan Jr., texting us from Upper West. Good morning, Roland, Na, Beatrice. There must be an existing technology to control the spillage. It's unacceptable for the spillage to keep destroying farms every year, and that's from Justice Mills. Good morning, TV3. Please encourage our people to wear life jackets to prevent any disaster on the water. All right. So the issue of life jackets also has to do with availability of the life jackets. We know that the Ghana Maritime Authority is doing some work in this regard, providing life jackets to all inland water communities. Good morning, Na. My name is Abina from Ho. The pathetic thing about the spillage is that the people would be running away from the water, whereas they can't even get potable water to drink. The spilled water can be harvested and treated for communities. I plead with the current government to bring a lasting solution to this menace. Good morning, Roland, Beatrice, Na, and others at TV3 Network. Great people doing great work for Mother Ghana. In fact, our problem in this country is big English, but zero work. Big arable land that can't cultivate it for our food sustainability. And that's from Prosper, texting us from Peki. My dad is a cocoa farmer. Those who come to buy his cocoa drive in heavy car, while the farmers till today, my father till today is unable to finish his 3-bedroom house for over 10 years he started. Too bad. Good morning. It's really sad for Ghana. This village is not a once in 100 years old. Yet leadership till date couldn't devise any means to contain this water. It's unfortunate. And this one says, I'm so impressed by the UDS student. She's so determined and needs to be assisted. Thank you. And that's Makofa Boso, Elizabeth from Mama Saman. Now, Beatrice and Papa Ro, the spillage of the dam is not unusual, but what concerns me is the scale of its impact and the number of communities affected. Communities such as Meper, Bator, and other parts of the North Tongue became symbols of disaster, with residents losing their homes, farms, businesses, and livelihoods. The real question, therefore, is not simply whether the dam had to be spilled. It is whether enough was done to protect downstream communities, provide timely warnings, evacuate residents, and minimize the damage. And that's from Humadosi Chofe from the Guan constituency. Salom Amieche from Avem, Afiade Nigba in the Volta region says, the annual spillage of the Bagri Dam in Burkina Faso continues to cause devastating floods in northern Ghana, destroying lives, homes, farms, schools, and livelihoods. This has become a recurring challenge that requires more than emergency responses. I respectfully call on the government of Ghana to implement drastic and long-term measures to mitigate the impact of these floods. These should include the construction of a flood control infrastructure, dredging of affected waterways, improved early warning systems, relocation support for vulnerable communities, and stronger bilateral engagement with Burkina Faso on dam management. Our people should not have to suffer the same disaster year after year. It's time for a sustainable solution that protects lives, properties, and the future of our northern communities. Greetings. It is indeed a shame to us as a nation, and especially to our political leaders, that almost 70 years after independence, we cannot get a reliable, modern, engineered dam for the North to take care of the perennial spillage from the Bagri Dam. This is so sad, Shalom. And that's from Dennis sending that message in. Can we take some more messages? Yeah, I think we still can. All right, Beatrice. So these are some of the messages that have come in this morning.
Indeed, and thank you so much for sending in your messages. A number of them, we've just been able to bring some of them to you. But let me remind you again that you can pack up your day the Milky Way with the rich, smooth taste of Peck Milk Shortcake. It is just pure delight. As always, find any grocery shop by you and get one for yourself and your loved ones. When we come back, we'll bring you the big issues, sports, and some more. Do stay with us.
You don't want to make that. Hello, thank you once again for joining us. We hope that you continue following us, and in the discussion that we're about to have, you also be looking out for us across social media platforms. Just go search, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, but also TikTok or any other that you find favor with to stream alongside with us. TV3 Ghana. Make sure you search for that. And this morning we'll be talking about some very relevant issues. We know that a number of issues have already been on the center stage, on the platforms for public opinion and for the various platforms for your own discussion as well. And I tell you, we're not talking about the outcome of that judgment from the Justice Department of the United States of America in relation to Mr. Asante Bekong, the former TOR managing director, and then also that AXA energy scandal. But in the first place, we'd also want to take a look at what the audit report findings for the Auditor General has been about ongoings between 2017, 2025 at the Ghana mission or the Embassy of Ghana in the United States of America. And a number of revelations so far indicating that we had a whole syndicate undertaking unscrupulous activities to the benefits of not only 7 personnel of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and its assigns, but also other individuals who form schemes just to extort money from ordinary Ghanaians as well as those clients of the Ghana Embassy in the United States of America. And then also the minority has been raising key issues when it comes to the cocoa bill and subsequently the contents of that bill and its effect on the cocoa industry, particularly for farmers, the farmers who till the land, to make sure that we get that cash crop to end the foreign exchange that we need for our reserves for Ghana. But in the meantime, please make sure that you get interactive. And let me just introduce our guest for the morning. It's very important for us to do so. I have Jebunti of Sisala East right here, and then also the University of Ghana Political Science Department, and he's here. Jebunti, PhD.
Good morning.
Joshua Jebunti Zato, how are you?
I'm fine. Good morning. We are supposed to discuss the audit report. I don't know that. So it just came up, right? Okay. You knew we were going to discuss audit report?
I don't get what you're saying.
You said we were discussing the audit of the Ghana Embassy report.
Oh, but I thought that was what I was saying too. Oh, you have an
In fact, that was what was sent to me.
Okay. I thought we were going to do cocoa board and...
Okay, you were not sent the topic. That topic.
No, okay.
Don't worry, we'll do the cocoa board.
No, we'll do that. We'll do the audit. It's always good to do audit.
No, but check what you had received.
What's that? What I received, I've just told you. What's supposed to be?
It's not true.
What is the truth? I'm saying that we're going to do Beko and...
What did you receive?
AXA and Gold Board. Okay, let's go. I always like to hear audit reports because they're always very good. They tell us what we are doing wrong and not doing wrong as Ghanaians. They help shed light on some of the things that happen behind.
Were you sent the audit report?
No, I'll just get it. I've read about it. Don't worry, we can do it. I've read about it. I've read a few things about it. So we're fine. We can discuss it.
All right.
I'm not like Solo. I don't make controversy.
All right. According to our producers, it was sent to Dr. Jebunti Zato, and it looks like corroborated by everybody else on the panel alongside him. And so next to him, I have Sam Jerome, who is also the Public Affairs Director for the Ghana Cocoa Board, also helping us representing government communications. I say good morning to you. Thank you for speaking to us and then coming on the table as well. How are you?
I'm okay. Yourself?
I'm well.
Great.
All right. And then also, Ross also is also a legal practitioner, also here representing the MPP as well. Thank you for joining us, Lawyer Usu. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Roland.
Good to see you.
Good to be here.
Okay. And of course, Director for Communications, Chairman for the Common Sense Family of Ghana. How are you?
I'm good, my brother. You're looking great this morning.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm trying to look very academic with my spectacles and things. I want to learn from Jebunti Zato.
Okay. That's the secret.
Well, for those who have joined us, we're grateful. Please, let me just make a mention of a couple of you. So I've seen Nkwa Maestro already appalled at many other related, I don't know on what subject as well. And then also, let's talk about K Shots, Gregory Siedu. I see Kujo there as well. Neo Degatukwe Kwe. Prince Nani Ayok is watching us from the UK. And then also Manini Mani and the rest of you as well. And now we'll take you through what the key findings are in that audit report, for which there are every indication that a wrong was done to our republic. And the audit findings are indicating that in sum, $19.38 million were diverted into private hands. And key among them, individuals who work for the Republic of Ghana, for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, posted to the Ghana Embassy in Washington, United States of America. And there were additional postage costs to the embassy as well, $45,520 outside what they already also got in this. According to the irregularities summing up to plus $19 million, there were cloned sites or payment sites that were put together by those individuals spanning from 2017 and before then about 2013, and subsequently within the period, the audit findings also indicated that the proceeds captured in the audit summary summed up to some $21.74 million, for which if you net off the 19, it also means that what comes or accrues to the government of Ghana is just in those numbers. The estimated actual postage costs that was allowed by auditors were said to be in the sum of $2.36 million. And so these individuals were charging clients or Ghanaians who interface with the U.S. Embassy or the Ghana Embassy in the United States more money than usual and diverting the money into their own private accounts. Per the finding, visa and passport application support fees summed up to $14.3 million. And then an additional $4.59 million gained from mailing and dispatch fees per the scheme. The individuals who play big roles, foremostly, Fred Kwatin named, incorporated companies in the United States to undertake their work, and the transactions for which they were credited went to their own special purpose vehicles or frontline companies. A typical an example being the Stefan LLC. And then they charge extra or excess square merchant fees as well, apart from the approved ones from the US and then also the Ghana Embassy in the US. So in total, these individuals, and if you look at the audit reports, there are some even one or two other known individuals who were beneficiaries. And so what happened was that from the proceeds of the crime they committed, they shared money from not only a week, monthly, and some known names were also captured by the Auditor General. And this is the audit report. And so that's the official and formal document. All right, what does it mean? What are the implications as well? So we're here to speak to the subject matter. Jerome, if you follow through the subject matter, you'll find that these are great wrongs done not only to the Republic of Ghana by individuals who it looks like had other conspirators within the embassy and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Thank you very much, Roland, and good morning to you, as well as to my co-panel here, and also to the people of the Republic, particularly to the Kuku farmer watching us this morning. I must state that, yes, when this issue broke, I've had the opportunity to listen to some few people and also read the publication as well. I'm not here to pass judgment because it is still a developing issue until it has been taken over or interest has been shown by the Attorney General, where possibly names that have been mentioned and then charges being preferred against those people. That is where you will be able to ascertain or verify how true or false the issues are. But be as it may, I find it quite disturbing because it is not an issue that happens solely in the Republic, but outside the jurisdiction of the Republic. And it creates certain impression as to how corruption has been endemic in our system. And that is what I am very particular about. This is not the first time that the international community have raised issues as to how corrupt practices are being done or still being perpetrated in our country. So when you hear or read commentaries or reports such as this, it really, really, really brings some kind of disturbing image about the whole Republic. But as I indicated, Supra, I wouldn't want to delve into it by singling out people and saying that they are culpable or not. So we leave that to the Attorney General. If he finds the report worthy enough to commence prosecution or charges against the names mentioned, then that is fine. Then we take the conversation from there. So I wouldn't want to waste much of a time in relation to that at all. Yeah. Much of my time will be spent on the issues of cocoa.
All right.
Yeah.
Lauso.
Yes. For me, I think that the downward trend on which our moral decadence is treading as a country is a very dangerous path. Our country, our moral fiber continues to decline, and people engage in corruption and acts of bribery with careless abundance in this country. And it is a very dangerous aspect. And if you watch the conversation within our public space, you would realize that this practice has crept into almost all aspects of our national life. This has become so partly because I think the government machinery, and if I say government machinery, I mean both NPP and the NDC, are always keen on pursuing perceived political opponents and politically exposed persons, leaving out the institutions that are mandated to run. Because mind you, politicians only come, and per the constitution of this country, they are given about just 4 years. If you are lucky and you are given another term, you stay in for 8 years. But these civil and public servants remain within our public space for a very long time until they go on retirement. If we do not come to a consensus as a country to actually look at the way we have left institutions in this country to run and the way we have left civil servants and public servants off the hook, and we always channel our energy to the politician, Ghana will always be at the losing end. And I say so because, let me give you a specific instance. You know the Adamus resource revocation, the matter. And I say this without wearing any political lens. Are you aware that the very charges on which Adamu's resource license was revocated by the minister, some of these grounds or provisions from our Minerals and Mining Act were the grounds for which Wontumi is in jail.
Very well, yes.
You are aware?
Yes, reassignment of mining rights or land.
Exactly, contrary to section, in fact, the facilitation, contrary to section 14(1) of the Minerals and Mining Act. And in fact, with Adamus, they even went ahead to give concessions without approval from the minister to foreign nationals. They were mining outside the demarcated area that was given to them legally. And all that we are hearing so far is the revocation of their license.
Why is this important to the subject matter?
What makes it important is that Adamus is not a politically exposed entity. Wontumi was a politically exposed entity. So the government of the day or the government architecture found the need to prosecute Wontumi and leave Adamus. I don't know what decision is going to be taken in the future, but we expect that persons that are not politically exposed, that are equally within this architect, this cabal, should be found out and be prosecuted. And I say this in relation to the scandal that we are discussing at the Ghana Embassy in the United States. If we have a strong institution within our high commissions and embassies, these matters shouldn't be up for discussion today. How is it possible that within a period between, I think, 2017 per the report, 2017 to 2025, a person is able to make about $19 million, monies which are supposed to come to the states. And we are only finding out in 2026 that this is what is happening. And that is why I'm saying that we should take the political lenses out, both the MPP, because this scandal started under the MPP as well. You understand?
But generally involve individuals who are public servants or civil servants.
Exactly. That is why I'm telling you that our interest as a people, and unfortunately the general population of this country is more interested in matters that has to do with politically exposed persons. And persons that are not politically exposed are taking huge advantage within the lapses in our institutions to make millions of money. Some of these charges that are being proffered against politically exposed persons, some of them are not even amounted to this $90 million we are talking about. But those people are in jail. People are facing charges on some of these things. And people have been left off the hook. And Roland, I kid you not, if we should do forensic audit on all the embassies and high commissions in other parts of the world, which is associated with Ghana, you will realize that maybe this will even be
just
something,
an isolated case.
Yes, it will be a tip of the iceberg. So I will urge the Auditor General to actually conduct some of these forensic audits and auditing of some of our missions abroad to see what is happening there also. Because this is just the United States and we are talking about $90 million. This is dangerous. And we expect that the Attorney General of this country initiates major investigations, whether UOCO or whichever relevant institutions that is needed to come on board, to investigate major investigations into some of these practices. And whoever is found culpable should be brought to book. We should not care whether the person is a politician or the person is a public servant. Whoever is found culpable, this is monies that should have accrued to the people of Ghana, and they must be made to account for it.
The thrust of Lawyer Owusu's argument really falls in your line of argument you've had when it comes to the subject of corruption and then pursuing politically exposed persons, when you know that the individuals who tend to occupy the general architecture of public service really are the vehicles for which we have the country losing money, Dr. Zato.
Okay, I'm happy you know my position on that.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say that I'm being hypocritical on that. But that is my position. That look, right now, so you can just say just this week, we've had two main stories coming from Ghana's transactions outside our shores. One involving public servants leaving our shores to go and do businesses or business coming to Ghana. And that one involving Ghanaians in foreign lands doing the shows. But by the way, if you have lived outside Ghana for a long time, and if you had to deal with any embassy or high commission, you will realize that some of these things they are saying is no news. You will realize, look, I lived in Ottawa for about 10 years, in Canada. I lived in Dubai for about 5 years. Look, And so now when you see some of these things happening, some of these analyses, like the ordinary Ghanaians who are there, nobody will say, oh, I'm shocked, I'm surprised that there are people sitting in the embassies cooking these things and doing these things. Nobody will tell you that they are surprised. That's what ordinary Ghanaians feel. But to the two major agencies have told us something that our own governments, our own public servants have never told us. One is the financial organization Citibank in the United States.
Yes.
The other one is what's the name of this bank that was involved in the AXA case?
Goldman Sachs.
Goldman Sachs. Two banks stood up and defended this government, defended this country.
Goldman Sachs is almost like a finance.
Yes, yes. So for the purposes of this discussion, I'm referring to them as banks. They stood up and they defended the Black Star. They stood up and they defended Ghanaians. They stood up and they flagged operations that they thought or that they suspected were what? Illegal and illicit, and that were draining Ghanaians. I don't know the last time a Ghanaian bank or any bank operating from Ghana flagged issues that they should know or that they ought to know are illegal and not. Look, I'm just reading the report here by Manasseh Zure. He's telling you how ordinary officials at Citibank were writing emails to the Ghana embassy, telling them that these accounts you're opening, this you are doing, they look suspicious. Calling them, following up with emails and saying, now look, what you are doing, and if you're reading the report, you begin to understand how come these people, a foreign bank that is supposed to just make money because they were making money from these transactions. But for once, and that's that's the capital of the whole wide world. And the men and women operating these banks, they were also making commissions. But here they are saying that despite the fact that we are making money, despite the fact that we have about $90 million here, they were raising questions of ethics and morality. When was the last time, again, you had a Ghanaian bank in dealing with any government agency raised questions of morality and ethics, flagged operations, and recorded, and say, they recorded them, they have them in the emails. Yeah. For me, why don't we have that? So that's what I'm saying. These financial institutions that in Ghana, if you look at almost all the acts or alleged acts of corruption that have happened, they also involve banks in this country.
But to be truthful to the banks, when their receipts or their payments made into account, which are not regular, per the payments that are made or deposits that are made into certain accounts, particularly for individuals or companies, they tend to flag them.
But well, I'm just saying that we have not seen most of the corruption cases that we got this or that they've tendered in a report or a result from banks that are saying this. That's one thing. Two, again, I made it here last week and I said this point. The political class in Ghana, politicians, the media in Ghana, civil society organizations in Ghana, all of us become hypocritical when the corruption involves civil servants or public servants. We sit down and we pretend with this Ghanaian old adage that everybody chops at his wake side. So we don't care if you are a watchman here and we see that the income you have, what you are doing, is way above what we expect you to pay, even if we know your salary. We don't care. In the same way, we don't care if we know that you are an MP, but whatever you are earning and enjoying is more than your salary as an MP. We don't scrutinize that. We don't, because again, the idea is that we hope it doesn't bring us any political benefits. And this week we've shown that. In the AXA case, names have been mentioned. Some of this, what I'm saying is that names have been mentioned in the AXA case. That look, these are the men and women who receive money. Some of them are selling their positions, enjoying benefits. In this case, in this audit report, names have been mentioned. And I'm sure almost all these names are still with the Foreign Service. So far, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has been numb about this. I don't know, have they issued a statement?
No.
Have they
commissioned the audit?
Yes, the audit has come. The findings
have come. Special audit.
Yes, so far they've not issued any statement. So far we are not sitting here, they've not told us that after this audit, what then? Because mostly it is not the findings. And again, that is the politics of this. It is not the findings, it's not the audit. You can have all of them. But it's the actions. Now the lobbying has begun. Now the political people are now cashing in political favors. Because how long should it take? Because you've come with this, well, at least in the meantime, we should have heard from them saying that, look, these men and women who have been mentioned, one, either they've been called back home, or at least they are on some kind of administrative or whatever suspension, whilst we are taking the bigger decision. No.
You are saying by this time the Ministry of Foreign Affairs should be coming out with that public.
At least we need to know, because if you commission this, we need to know. And something happened. They said the minister, Shele Koboche, went there, and when this thing came, he ordered the thing to be stopped. It's in 2021. But then it was open again, or they found another loophole.
Yeah. So this is what happened. They also said that they had private websites which mimicked the site names of the Ghana embassy for payment. So the audit specifically identified GhanaPV.org and TravelGhana.net. And according to the report, the GhanaPV.org used the Ghana coat of arms, the name Embassy of Ghana, and official contact information, creating the appearance of an official government platform. Then applicants were redirected there to pay mailing and application support fees. And then subsequently, there were staff at the Ghana embassy at the time who were giving monies. Each month they'll collect. There's even a screenshot already in the audit report, indicating even names that we're all familiar with, who were supposed to be recipients of these stipends or money, if it's great loot and share in those small amounts, but amounting to 90 million, so to speak. And Lawyer also puts it right in payoff.
Yes, no. Yeah. So the point I'm saying is, you see, this type of loot, was not part of the oral estimates. It wasn't part of it. They didn't get it. And that is also the problem I talked about. The oral was focused on politically exposed corruption. Now, I want us to see that, to see the other canker in our society. Look, imagine you're a minister, you come to place. There's no way you can even know or monitor these things. And so let's be honest with them. Look, I know it's difficult in this country for us to try to hold, to try to make, I don't want to say justifications, but try to hold brief for politicians, right? But you can understand the extent to which these people have gone to. How deeply seated it is to make sure that the minister would not know, to make sure that they cover up. My point is, so far, there is, and I can tell you, you watch and see what is going to happen. One, the unions of these organizations are going to rise up and defend and protect these people. That's the first thing that is going to happen. Two, it's possible then that these people can then threaten. Remember the last I was telling you, the reason why public servants, ministers follow public servants to the Public Accounts Committee, you remember that. This is where it's now come. Because they will now, you have information on me, I have information on you. And that becomes is blackmail. So now you're also a minister, or you're saying, like, hey, wait, if I've come hard on these people, what about me will they also expose? So before you realize, it becomes a kind of a compromise between these two people. And then it's the ordinary Ghanaian that sacrifice. If this was a minister, if this report has said that the minister either said or knew more about it, had this, and today, you would have seen the course.
You think the approach would have been different?
No, it is. You know that, I know that, we all know that. If it was a big politically exposed person, an MP or a government appointee, by now, in fact, the whole thing would have become different. But because of this, it will be addressed in the back room with handshakes. If you are maybe sorry with some sorries, with some hand waving, and then we move on to the next scandal. Welcome to Ghana.
But is that really the case as well? That the focus on prosecution for embezzlement and misuse of public funds, or also misuse of power of authority while in public office, seem to be only focused on politically exposed persons in relation to what this is, and then the actions thereof that need to be taken?
Roland, let me greet you once again and say that...
Good morning, Solo.
There is a saying that just give time some time, and people confront reality.
I thought that was for Dennis Miracle.
Yeah, no, they now coming to reality. My brother Zato sitting here, ranting comfortably, saying that. That's what he has been saying, that we must be checking lifestyle audit. People expend money that hitherto we are not concerned. But here is the same person that last year, when I petitioned the OSP to investigate the former Vice President who happens to be their flag bearer, on the statement that he single-handedly procured 300 vehicles. And I said that the focus was not on the vice president, but his ability to prove that indeed we know the salary of a vice president, and we know how much it costs to procure 300 vehicles. Whether or not the amount that he was receiving will be able to support. He took me to the cleaners. He took me to the cleaners.
That was your
my goodness.
Like from a time you said they should look at this. They should look at this person.
So you see,
he says that what is good for the goose.
Should be good for the should have said they should investigate all the political parties.
But what prevents you from petitioning?
No. Why should we always?
Allah had not gone anywhere to say that he single-handedly procured 300 brand new vehicles.
You were driving
your candidate said he single-handedly procured 300 vehicles. And I was saying at that time that we needed to use him as a point of reference to handle people that were living above their means.
What is your point, sir?
So the point here really is that, yes, I agree with him that we must care about people's status in society and how much they expend. I mean, you cannot tell me that we don't know your factories, we don't know your business, yet you'll be riding big cars in this country and nobody questions it. And that is what I sought to do. And so if today he has come back to agree with me, hallelujah, let's move on. And then from today to go, we remain principled and consistent. Again, I disagree with the statement that we are not going after politically exposed persons. You can't take the politically exposed out of this equation.
To me, there's a scenario
no, in fact,
that is also put together and then also observed by lawyer Usu here.
In fact, this audit,
Mining Act.
Oh yes,
two individuals.
No, that one.
And here we are.
No, I agree.
All going for the directors of the company.
No, but I agree. But the point is that in relation to this audit, in fact, the first person that must be hauled before any investigative body must be the former Foreign Affairs Minister, Sheria Yokobochi.
Why?
Then after that, you go after Hajia Halima.
Why?
Because they were all in the know.
In the audit?
They were all in the know. The audit findings captured their thoughts. In fact, you made reference to Sheria Yoko that when she went there, she asked them to stop. As a minister, so it is not in doubt that the minister knew of the happiness. What was her action? What did she cause to be done? She did nothing. And it's not for nothing that the auditors identified 7 key actors in this. They identified Fred Quartin, who now seems to be the star of the show. They identified Janet Quartin, who happens to be the treasurer or the finance officer at the embassy. They identified Jennifer Apalu, who happens to be the head of chancery. And then Amidu Muhammad Karande and Her Excellency Hajia Halima.
So he lends credence to the argument.
So what I'm saying is
public servants are those that are
but who are those
perpetrating?
Who is managing them? Who is the head of the mission there? Is it not Hajia Halima? Was she in the know? Was she in the know? She knew about it. Let me tell you, nobody can convince me that this whole booty was only taken by Fred Quartin.
Why?
It was collusion. They colluded to dupe the state. Because, I mean, if you look at the audit report, the correspondence between Jivaki, that is the relationship manager of Citibank.
Citibank, yeah.
The corresponding emails. She kept on reminding General Quartin to the extent that Madame Quartin confessed that the company called Stefan belonged to Fred Quartin. So conflict of interest immediately arises. And the audit also exposes that the Stefan LLC does not even exist. You know, the company was cloned. Instead of Stefan, S-T-E-F-R-A-N, they made it S-T-E-F-R-A-N-N to confuse them. So the city relationship manager broke the news that, look, we have checked online and there is no company called, Stefan. And so why are you paying the company? So they did the work for us and that is why we have to pay. Then the relationship manager asked General Quartin whether they had any certificate from the state secretary. Because if you want to do any renovation in terms of residence, you need that permit. What is it? Then it became a matter. They went back and cooked another story to justify why they had to pay, what do you call it, Mr. Kwatin. So it was something that they colluded and then made the money and they shared it. And so for me, it is the head of the ambassador together with the group that decided to make money off the country. And so if you want to search out there, or if you want to prosecute all of them, from the foreign affairs minister to all those that have been made, they have to be prosecuted. Anything short of that, you are only playing to the gallery. You get my point.
Now, to the point that they have clone websites, and
yes,
they share the money at the end of each month.
No, my own brother too, he didn't take much. Kofi Tonto, he took only 800. You know, if you look at the league table, Kofi so was the least.
The monthly stipend.
Was it because Kofi was short?
He's not here. He's not here.
Kofi is not here.
So
no, that is what the audit is saying.
And the circumstances under which Kofi Tonto was paid that money,
he
will not make him.
That's why I was very surprised they kept Kofi's name.
From the process of that nature that he was being paid. He had given birth, and
he's not here. To be fair,
no, he's not here. But we are discussing the audit.
Yes, it's captured in the audit, but it's not. He's not here.
No, you are not understanding the point. I'm only trying to let you understand that. How they accuse
Kofi, you had a friendly chat on one.
Kofi is my brother.
Okay.
I am only saying that if you.
So you're only reading from the report.
The report. I have not accused Kofi. I can't accuse him.
Well, there's a screenshot.
But
of the
a litany of names that were mentioned.
No,
why have you selected
Kofi? What I'm saying.
Saying that Kofi has been shorting.
Kofi has been shorting. He has a balance to take.
The relevance of he being.
If people are taking 3,000, go give my brother Kofi 800. Why do you think I will not fight for him?
No, it's okay. It's not fair. It's okay.
So
because he was a staff of the embassy. Okay.
So what I'm saying is that it is not true that the embassy was not in the known. They did this business together, and then because they were in the know, look, at a point in time, Madame Jenekranti actually wrote to the Citibank inquiring whether there was any dormant account. So that they could Kofi. No, Madam Jenekranti, who was the chief finance officer, wrote to Citibank inquiring whether the mission had any dormant account. I think they wanted to operate their activities through that bank account. Then she was told that no, none existed. Then she goes back and tells them that now if none existed, then we are opening a fresh account where we will be channeling all these mailing fees through it. So it is not in doubt that the embassy was aware that they were doing this business, and that when Ghana travel consultants makes their money, it goes to them, and they also share. I believe that beyond prosecuting them and also retrieving our money, what has to happen is that they have shown us the way to mobilize more money for our embassies. With this 19 million, what will make any ambassador or any official that come back to our country and come and tell us that you don't have money there, so we should give you money. Now they have established to us that the embassy has whatever it takes to generate more than enough to take care of themselves and even reimburse some into our consolidated fund for us to develop this country with. And so we don't want to hear anybody come and tell us that our embassies do not have money. Now we go to this issue of he brought in the Goldman Sachs. A bit of it. Let me say that we cannot be here praising Goldman Sachs and the U.S. government relation to our brother Beku. If the United States of America believes that we must take them and see them as holier than thou, then Goldman Sachs, together with the Turkish energy company, benefited from this transaction. They must calculate all the windfall that accrued to them and send it back to the people of this country.
By way of the 16% share.
Exactly. So that we will know that they mean business. You cannot just go and imprison somebody and then still keep our money. Who does that? So please.
But the point of his contribution is the fact that to the point that they are able to enforce their own internal regulations and compliance regulations to flag and then subsequently report to federal authorities for prosecution of those individuals. Give us a head start.
It doesn't give us a look.
In Ghana, no company or ministry department will do that.
No, they do. I mean, and here again, the banks in this country.
The foreign transactions.
No, they report a lot. They report. It's the reason why FIC is able to apprehend a lot of people. In fact, it's the commonest thing in the banking sector.
Well, even as individual, when you make deposit, that's usually, if, let's say you do 1,000, and the next time you are doing 10,000.
Because the point is that when you are opening a bank, you take a box, expected inflows. So when it goes outside that expected inflows, then it raises red flag. Okay. But what I'm saying is that to the extent that even with the Citibank, the mere fact that the relationship manager reported, they were still keeping our money. You understand? The proceeds from the crime, they were still keeping it and doing business with it. Because for them, it is the business that matters. So the same way with Goldman Sachs. They reported, yet the money is still with them. They have not reimbursed the country. So all in all, it tells you how endemic corruption is to our system. And it also tells you that the decision that the Foreign Affairs Minister took last year, that our brothers from the MPP criticized, it was the right decision. You know, he closed out the embassy. When you close it, people say, no, it's to allow it to go once we do investigation. Some of these heinous crimes, you close it.
Heinous.
More than. You close it and deal with a specific issue, and then you continue. Now, sanity has come there, and we will move on.
Okay. Now, Jerome, let's deal with the subject matter of the.
Roland, I wanted to make a quick.
Okay, you want to, because I wanted
the issue of this.
I want us to go to.
Yeah, a quick one, just a quick one.
Because Jerome has a lot of.
I think on this table we have agreed that we should look at the institutions and the
all
civil
the
and public servants that.
What are you going to say about Kofi
within the institution?
Please allow him.
This scandal per the audit report that has come out.
Yes.
Started from 2017 all the way to 2025. Kofi Tonto only went to the embassy in 2020 or sometime in 2021. What I'm saying to you is that at the time Kofi Tonto,
nobody has said anything about Kofi
Tonto. Because you mentioned his name specifically. Because there were a litany of names that were stated in the audit report. You refused to mention any of those names.
Were there litany of names?
A lot of names.
You don't like
the lady that opened the bank account was there.
Sorry, and
why didn't you mention those names?
I have mentioned General Quantin's name more than 10 on this set. You are not listening.
So when Solo, if you do this, the concentration always remain on the politician. And these people.
No, but I have mentioned General Quantin's name more than 20 times on this set.
We are advising against.
You see,
he's saying that.
Roland, let's make progress.
No, you didn't make progress. Let me clarify.
But he needs to take a balance of what?
No, he needs to take a balance of 2,200 because it's 3,000. But what I'm saying is that everybody is mentioning Kofi Tonto's name. That is the baggage you carry.
Maybe because he didn't give you.
That's the point.
Please put their mics on. Kofi Tonto is a regular right here on the show, please. And then according to the words of Solo, he's also his brother. Okay? At the end of the day, this is an audit finding, and we have to put it that in that space. And so the question then is, will this be the clearest example of create, loot, and share? All apologies to a retired Supreme Court judge. That's Mr. Say sending me this. Mr. Say, thank you for sending me this. Quite reminds me of it. But Kofi Tonto has officially issued a statement.
I know him.
And I knew that you would mention his name.
Yes.
So lawyer also says that refrain from mentioning his name.
What does Kofi say?
So Kofi says, and it's in response to the fraudulent scheme at Ghana's embassy, Washington, USA, underlined, bold. And he says that he's become aware of a story published online in which it is alleged that he received an amount of $800 out of a colossal amount of $19 million, allegedly obtained from a fraudulent scheme at Ghana's embassy in the USA. And then he goes on to mention the story. But this is where he clarifies and the state his position. I wish to state that I have never been involved in any scheme, the sharing of or the receipt of any ill-obtained funds. It is instructive to note that in the said audit report, I have not been named as a person of interest for investigation. Then he goes on. The amount of $800 which I received in July 2021 was money which was lawfully paid to me as a child benefit package for the birth of my daughter, which occurred in January 2021. To the best of my knowledge, and the mine again is Kofi Tonto. So to the best of Kofi Tonto's knowledge and recollection, the payment of his child benefit package is a standard practice that preceded him, as one will find in the same report, that about 28 other staff members of the Ghana embassy at the time also received benefit for various life-changing reasons. Therefore, a one-time payment of $800 for a child benefit, which I did not solicit for, nor determine the amount, nor determine the payment bank account, and could not have known the source of that funding or the source of the money paid, cannot be used as a basis to falsely implicate me as complicit in the alleged fraudulent scheme. And he wished to state that all payments such as compensation, allowances, benefits, and refunds that he received during his tenure as head of information and public affairs at the Ghana Embassy between March 2019 and July 2021 were received bona fide by me as a worker, which payments were made in accordance. So he worked there from 2019 to 2021.
So contrary to, I mean, is it not beautiful? This is what I was expecting Kofi to say, that indeed he took the 800, but the 800 was for a lawful reason.
Okay.
If you give birth, you get 800. That is it.
So if you go work, then you must
It's a general benefit. I'll give
What do you want to do, man?
Okay, so if you have 50,
you just
50 kids, 50 times 800.
Now you give me some.
There's been concern that
you work at the wrong places
by the minority, especially, to the point that owners, whether allodial or title holders of cocoa farms, those lands are enjoined not to use the land for any other activity without express permission of the minister or thereof. Is that fair? Among many others. The minority generally is saying, Jerome, from Cocoa Board, that the cocoa farmers will be poorer and not well off if this bill is fully introduced and then actioned.
Roland, I have been saying, and I will say it today again, that I have taken time to listen to propositions made by the minority, and I find it very difficult to come to terms with what really they want to mean. I say so because if you want to single out one thing that is about happening to the transformation of the cocoa sector, it is this particular bill, which when assented by the president becomes what? Becomes a law. Look, it is quite unfortunate the minority is not ready to discuss the various provisions in the bill.
What are the changes that they bring?
If you would allow me, I deal with the concerns raised by the minority.
You have 7 minutes.
The minority, then speak to some of these issues. You see, first, the minority says that there wasn't any consultation. When they were confronted with the fact, they now changed position and says that, oh, there wasn't any brotherhood consultation. Now, I asked or quizzed that, is it the position or argument of the minority that the over 800,000 farm families that we have, we are to consult each and every farm family, all right, to establish that indeed there was broader consultation. I say so because there is every fact or evidence to show that the leadership of the various farming groups, specifically Kokoshi, were consulted.
How many farmers are there in the industry, Jerome?
800,000 farm families. 800,000 farm families.
What proportion or percentage of those 800,000+ families of cocoa did you engage?
They have a union, and the mother union of the farm families is Kokoshi. That is cocoa, coffee, and shea nut farmers. So you consult these people, you get their buy-in or their various opinions before you go on whatever that you do. And they have come out to establish that indeed Cocoa Board consulted them. And that is why I said that unless it is the argument or position of the minority saying that you needed to have consulted each and every farm family, that would be a different thing altogether. Again, we also have other stakeholders in the cocoa sector, which include the license buying companies, as well as the local processing companies. I was part of a meeting which was sanctioned by the president after the cabinet meeting for Cocoa Board, Ministry of Trade and Agribusiness, as well as Ministry of Finance, to meet with the local processing companies at the Ministry of Trade and Industry. And it was geared towards the preparation or the draft of this particular bill. So I also find it quite unfortunate for the minority to opine that we did not consult the local processing company. Same with the license buying companies. Now the argument has shifted from you did not consult the license buying companies to that, oh, you consulted them, but their input were not factored in the bill that you have drafted. And this is the argument that I put forward. Let's assume that indeed their opinions or their inputs were not factored in. Are their opinions binding on Cocoa Board to be factored in? If it will not inure to the collective benefit of of the sector. Mind you, these are private entities, all right, chasing after their businesses. So if they suggest or make inputs, which if you factor in, it will not serve the interest of the sector, I'm not sure that any reasonable mind will say that the fact that you needed, all right, the fact that you needed
question, to be, Jerome, which is that what are the key highlights that this bill brings?
Yes,
and I just wanted to debunk the benefits of the cocoa farmer?
To debunk that. Look, there are a lot of provisions in this bill that inures to the benefit and the interest of the cocoa farmer. Let's deal first with the issue of pricing. Do you know how the price today is being determined? The mechanism today for determining the price for the cocoa farmer is that when we have estimated a revenue for the season, all right, based on our projections, based on the price on the international market as well as the exchange rate, we have an estimated revenue. And out of the estimated revenue, we have a committee by name PPRC, that is Producer Price Review Committee. They sit, and before a percentage is given to the farmer, deductions are being made. And the deductions are operational cost. So for instance, if you say that, okay, we have incurred an amount or cost of maybe 1 billion cedis. So out of the estimated maybe 6 billion that you have realized for this season, we take that one from there. We say that, okay, we are also embarking on, let's say, free fertilizer. It will cost 1 billion. We take from that. So after we have made all the deductions, what is left is what you give a fraction or a percentage to the cocoa farmer. But under this new bill, the directive given by the president, which was factored in the bill, is that no, whatever amount of revenue that you estimate or you realize from a particular season, before you even do any deduction, make sure the 70% of the cocoa farmer is deducted. So the cocoa farmer is not affected by this new bill if you are to deduct or make deductions of the various expenses that you have incurred. So that is the most important thing. Number two, when this bill becomes a law, under no circumstance, irrespective of whatever that is happening on the international market, should the percentage of the cocoa farmer go below 70. Of course, it can be even 1,000%, no problem about that. But under no circumstance, you are enjoined by law to always making sure that the cocoa farmer gets 70%. Another provision in here is the establishment of the stabilization fund, because the trade of cocoa is such that it wouldn't be all the seasons that you have a surge in the price. There may be seasons where you have a decline in the price. So times that you have a surge in the price, you deposit some of the money in the stabilization fund. And the intent behind the establishment of that stabilization fund is that when you have the price in the international market plummet, you go into that fund, take some money and cushion the cocoa farmer. And this is what the minority is up in arms against. Beyond this, we are also dealing with the issue of funding model. Because since the inception of Cocoa Board from 1947, we have not had any legislation or law which has clearly specified how Cocoa Board should raise money for the purchase and payments of cocoa. So it started by way of government advancing money to Cocoa Board for the purchase of cocoa beans. We later transitioned to the syndication. We know the difficulties that surrounded it. Now, the system we are undertaking is the buyer funding model, where we rely solely
by way of the finance.
On the international buyer or the off-taker to advance cocoa board a certain percentage of it. Today, by this law, we are to raise finance domestically. And the most important thing is that because we are not getting or having the money in foreign denominations, it is not adding any pressure on our finances. Again, it is going to ensure the availability of funds at every moment. So you wouldn't hear the situation whereby a cocoa farmer says that because of inadequacy of funds, a bag or a ton of my cocoa which was being purchased has not been has not been paid for. So we have this in there. But this controversial issue about the prohibition or the repurposing of the farm, which I've even heard arguments.
Because the argument is that they just oppose it to what you do with the earth metals or the minerals, because it's enshrined in the 1992 Constitution that, of course, we have the president as well as holding that in trust for the people.
Yes.
Well.
So, and that is why
you cannot.
No. So, and that is why I said that.
Why do you want to equate that to cocoa farmers?
If they have really taking time to follow the discussions on this new bill, they will come to terms of realization that that said provision, which sought to given an express permission by the chief executive. If somebody has been given a license or a lease to even mine, we had a provision that says that unless you've been given express permission, but it was a sponge from the provision, because it contradicted provisions in the Constitution, and this was done in Parliament. Again, they raised issues about the marketing and exporting of the cocoa beans, specifically clause 59E, and that too has been deleted upon parliamentary debate. But the controversial one, which seeks to protect the cocoa farm and also ensure sustainability and development of the sector, is what the MPP is misinforming the people about. That, even today, if you want to repurpose your farm, or if you even want to do anything,
it's been a key argument.
The law.
Would you say they are wrong?
They are very wrong.
Why?
They are very wrong because what the law simply says is that apart from the acquisition of land and also the cost borne by the farmers in relation to labor, almost everything in the cocoa value chain by the cocoa farmer, Cocoa Board has interest in it by way of contributing. So Cocoa Board gives free seedlings, Cocoa Board gives free fertilizer, free agrochemicals, Cocoa Board gives free extension services. Cocoa Board, by this law, is also going to make contribution by way of scholarship scheme to the wards or the children of cocoa farmers at the tertiary level, and also giving them stipends on top of it. We are also going to make contributions.
But Jerome, this is land. So if, let's say, in most of the cocoa growing area, the land is vested in the stool.
You see,
and then subsequently they belong to the families. The families then, or whoever the landowners, they have the title, so to speak.
Roland,
if that is the case, and I want to repurpose my farm for whatever purpose because I hold title, the allodia owner, why then do you undertake this preclusion?
There is no provision in this bill that seeks to bar the cocoa farmer from the ownership of his or her land.
I'm talking about the use.
You see, and there is no contemplation in this bill that also suggests same. But the intent of this particular provision is that because we have interest in it, if you want to convert your land or if you want to repurpose it, just sit with Cocoa Board or inform Cocoa Board about your decision. Because we are interested in the crop. We are not interested in the land. We are interested. We are interested in the crop, not specifically
Gerald, you've had enough time.
If today
I gave you the time because you are the custodian of this.
Yes. So if today we have granted you the opportunity for you to repurpose whatever you are doing, then it means that we don't have interest in the land.
We on the side of the MPP do not oppose the reform.
You don't oppose it.
We don't oppose to the reform that is being made to the cocoa sector. In fact, we agree that PNDC Law 81 has been in existence since 1984. So a reform in 2026 is a laudable idea. For example, there's the issue of traceability in the cocoa sector that is in the current bill. We supported the value addition to the cocoa that we grow in this country, we support it. The guaranteed price floor for farmers, we support it. But the point of departure is that you do not make a law that do not, allow for broader consultation of major stakeholders of the sector. Mind you, this law was placed before Parliament on 28 July.
What do you mean by major stakeholder? Jerome here from Cocoa Board just says that they consulted the farmer groups or the Association of Coffee and Share.
The Licensed Cocoa Buying Association of Ghana, the other institutions, major stakeholders that are within this whole cocoa sector, that broader consultations were not made. And for a law that was passed within a week, a law that is supposed to regulate our cocoa sector. Mind you, the cocoa sector generates the second highest foreign exchange earner for this country. So it is important that if we are regulating a law that is going to cater for this sector, we take time, do broader consultation, and look at the law properly, so that when this law comes out, it will be a law that will be accepted by everybody, all stakeholders within the sector, to ensure that we have a foolproof legislation. For example, you cannot tell me that a law that criminalizes good husbandry. So if I have a tree that is being affected by the swollen shoot disease, for example, and as a farmer, I take the decision to cut those trees down, I must be prosecuted criminally for taking that measures. When you know very well the effect of swollen shoot, when swollen shoot affects just one tree, you know the effect it has on your cocoa farm. For example, the MPP cannot support a law that criminalizes the backlog that the Cocoa Board itself has created in terms of registration. You know, now if you do not register within the cocoa setup, and you undertake these activities, the new law criminalizes it. And this is a very dangerous legislation, or this dangerous provision, that if it is not looked at, is going to set a very dangerous precedent for our sector. The laws, of course, opens the door for fragmentation of external marketing. And that ties farmers' entitlement to figures that they cannot even verify or ascertain. These are very dangerous provisions that we are asking the government to take a second look at. And of course, we were vindicated in the case of the LGBTQ law, when we mentioned that there are certain provisions that needed to be looked at again. Of course, the Speaker of Parliament at the time found favor with the position of the minority in Parliament at the time, and asked that the President stays the assenting of that bill, so that broader consultations can be made and amendment to those provisions be made, so that when the law comes out, it is a law that everybody can rally around it, and we accept it as a country. So what the MPP is saying in essence is that the cocoa sector is a very major player in our economic setup as a country, and laws that are being enacted to set up this, to regulate and to guide this framework, must be laws that should encompass broader stakeholder consultations for everybody to come out with, suggestions that will inure to the benefit of the sector. That is all that we are saying. We are not, in essence, against. So
essentially, you're not against it.
We are not against it. And our communique that came out never suggested that we are against this.
You are pro-reform, but yes, you're saying that the engagement should have been adequate.
Some provisions in the law, in the bill, must be looked at. There are some provisions in the bill must be looked at. Because, Roland, we're sitting on this table, and including my good brother here, cannot tell me that if you tell me I'm a farmer and swollen shoot has affected a tree on my cocoa farm, I need to take permission from Cocoa Board in order to cut that
It's just
tree.
a matter of procedure.
And you know Ghana, you know how some of these things work. By the time this...
you don't want to... You're a lawyer. You don't want to work with procedure.
No,
lawyer also.
But I'm telling you that...
You know cocoa farmers have children who are lawyers and well-educated.
When it has to do with swollen shoot disease, that can affect the entire cocoa farm.
But how long would it take you to take a permit?
You know, there's a law on RTI. Within 14 days, when you file an RTI, you are supposed to get a response from the
That's what the law says, yes.
institution. But go and try that today and file an RTI and see the time you're going to get a response. This is the reality that we are confronted with. So we are just asking government to stay on this law for a while. Let consultations be made. And let's come out with a law that is foolproof. That is all that we are asking for.
And then joins the views of everybody else.
Exactly.
Lawyer, sorry, Doc, I have to give you 5 minutes on this.
Thank you.
Because my time is.
If you, apart from teachers and nurses, cocoa farmers are the next people where this government has woefully and pathetically failed to keep its promises with them.
Why, Dr. Zato? It cannot be true, right?
It's true. Yes.
In what way?
The president promised automatic posting for them. Have you seen automatic posting for the teachers and the nurses? Have you seen them? The government promises, have you seen them? So I'm telling you, up to them. Did you see that? If you want to look at some of the most blatant and outright promises made to Ghanaian sectors of Ghanaians, nurses and teachers should be those up in us, because the president, in fact, most of those promises to them, automatic posting, allowances for imported cars, whatever, all of them were made directly by the president during the campaign. They were filled. The other place is the cocoa farmers. We've talked about the famous 6,000 promised them, who never came. We've talked about the famous president telling them they will be happy that if you want to have, you should go now, if you don't have land, you pull down your house and convert it to a cocoa farm, you'll be happy. They are not smiling. There's no cocoa farmer that's smiling. But there's a one point I come where you see the cacophony of failed promises within the cocoa sector. And this man is here. I join Owusu and himself in saying that broadly, reforms were needed in the cocoa sector, because it was clear that we could not continue the way things were going. So the idea of reforms cannot. Look, if you look at Ghana's reform structure, if you look at the history of SOEs in this country, mostly Cocoa Board, ECG, are some of the big SOEs that are almost always mentioned whenever we are talking about debt in this country and debt in Ghana. And they are almost always part of the things that lead us to the World Bank. Any reform, you cannot read any history of debt and SOE reforms in this country without bringing the big guns, the big players.
You're saying that alongside the administration itself is bleeding.
No, I'm just telling you how historically these big SOEs have contributed to our economic and financial woes in this country. You cannot run for it. In fact, when the PNDC went to the World Bank for the Structural Adjustment and Economic Recovery Programs, if you look at the list of SOEs that were listed as some of the debt, you will see high among them ECG and Cocoa. So it has always been a trouble area. The two things. Look, let's come back to this sense. And I'm sure you are here, you are the expert, can tell us FOB price. There has been a big argument about FOB and the promise to farmers. That the government, this current government, cabinet promised in 2026 to give them an FOB price of 70%. They did, right. But in the bill, the price, it has been reduced to 65%, a minimum of 65%.
Not true.
No, okay, fine. So you tell me, but was the promise made?
Yes, 70% and 70% in the bill.
So the bill changed. The phone bill. Okay, to do that. The question then I want to ask is, it comes down to another issue of promise to farmers. What is there a difference between the calculation of the same? And this one I'm genuinely asking because I want to know. You can give me 1 minute of my time because
sure, that's fine.
There's a question about what's the name of that thing? FOB. Cabinet FOB, I mean, of this, and instead of the statutory regulation of 65% of the world market price realized after the cocoa board. Is there a difference between FOB and FOB after the cocoa board? I want to know whether this is different. Okay, I won't mind if it teaches me.
No problem.
Just 1 minute.
Yes, so
I've taking your time.
Yeah, I don't mind.
So I gave you 5 minutes.
1 minute.
So
why can't you have 1 minute?
Okay.
Yes,
Please do one.
Yes, so I've also heard this same argument. Now, when you read the bill, and if you have listened to the chief executive, he often uses realized FOB. The reason being that, Dr. Zato, if you pick your phone just now, and then you log on, or you go on to Google, finding out maybe the international price of cocoa today, whether you are going to the London terminal or the New York terminal, it will give you a certain amount. Now, the amount you find there excludes certain amount as well. For instance, the LID, that is the living income differentials. It also excludes what we call the country differentials and all that. But if we are making the determination of it, Cocoa Board factors in all these amounts before. Now, the trading of cocoa is not same as what the trading of maybe tomatoes, going to buy tomatoes. So every point in time, whether on monthly or weekly basis, you have the purchase or the trading of cocoa happening.
Okay.
Hold on.
No, I've got the answer here. I can't proceed.
I thought you said you needed proper elucidation. So I just wanted to give you that education. So you can.
I give you 1 minute.
So you're saying that there's a difference between the FOB price and then an FOB price after you have made some deductions. Basically, that's the one I'm trying to understand. That there's a FOB price that you can find on if I Google now, and then there's also another FOB price after I have made some deductions to now say that this is the balance left that I'll share.
What's your point?
Those are two different things. I'm simply saying that if just by what you're saying,
maybe you are talking about the world market as well as the gross FOB.
Anyway, but let's go back to look. For me, as I sit here, the biggest,
what he's saying is that the net of
the net. So you're talking about the net. So there's a gross and there's a net. What the cabinet
which is
promised
done by Cote d'Ivoire, everybody else, Dr. Zato.
But the cabinet promised them a net or a gross. When the cabinet can say, "Well, give you,"
but who should take care of the cost?
Look, I'm just asking. No. We are asking public policy. If you announce that, I will give you 70%. Good. If the policymaker says, "I will give you 70% of FOB," that's now we are saying that there are two FOBs. If I can just use that. One is gross and one is net, right? Is that what you're saying?
Today, the provision is granting you.
One FOB.
When you want to take that into consideration within the industry terminology.
Just one.
But who will have to take care of the cost?
No, so good. So there's a net and there's a gross. Is that the point? Okay, let me get back. The biggest threat to cocoa today is galamsey. The single biggest threat to the cocoa sector is galamsey. And I've made it a point here. We are running a galamsey economy. And that is why you realize that, first of all, not only is galamsey killing us through our water, through our food, through our vegetables, through our rivers, through our fish, it's also killing the cocoa sector. And we have seen, and cocoa, some of the owners have come to say that, one, there is the money, just the sheer financial. I have seen people say, look, my cocoa farm has been completely destroyed by galamsey. Galamseyers are taking cocoa farms. And we are sitting and watching. Now, we are worried about a farmer removing one tree from his farm.
Is that not rather a disincentive for a farmer to go ahead and say, I want to give
it has already been. I'm just saying a point that, look, if we don't take care, the Ecuadors, the Ivory Coast, and other countries
Brazil
are investing and doing better and greater things in their cocoa sector. They are expanding. I even hear China too has even started to get some weight. Look, they are doing things. Then what are we doing here? We are playing chaskele with our cocoa sector. We have become galamsey gold drunk to the extent that thousands and thousands, if not millions of ordinary cocoa farmers, some of them have historically literally been chased away from their farms. Listen, the law is talking about if you give up your farm. So probably it's saying about a kind of a willful thing. Okay, I've given up of it. What of those who have their farm destroyed by galamsey gangs, wielding deadly weapons? Yeah. So that one too, how can you establish? Because I didn't give it to them. And that is most of the illegal, the galamsey happening. It's happening in areas where the man doesn't know. I heard a former, I don't know whether I can mention his name. I will mention Joe Wise, Honorable Joe Wise. I've heard him tell this story, and I'm saying this because I don't think he will mind. Tell me that one day he got up in Accra here, went to his cocoa farms, almost all of it destroyed by galamsey. Galamsey will kill the cocoa sector, and it will kill the cocoa farmers, and it will kill all of us.
Cocoa board itself has predicted a 60% shortfall in projected cocoa tons that we are going to produce.
And you allude that to galamsey as well.
Yes, and no, it is cocoa board that is saying, not me. You're from your institution.
What do you make of this? I mean, per the analysis, etc. I mean, this is good or not, irrespective 60%. Of all that's happening. Galamsey invading and then being our weak point, our Achilles heel, so to speak.
I have the memorandum here. I have once again printed it. And I'm very happy that my brother started by saying that the New Patriotic Party does not have any problem with it. And I don't see how anybody that really thinks about Ghana will go through this bill and say there is something wrong. Because we must all, first of all, acknowledge that there is a problem in the cocoa sector. And if there is a problem, then you must take steps to deal with the problems. If you read our Great Transformational Plan,
the yellow constitution.
Yeah, the page 21. You can
read
manifesto. There's a plan.
And the blueprint.
Yeah, you see, what did we say?
Which one?
The reforms in cocoa sector.
Okay. So paragraph 1.9.
Yes, okay. Paragraph 1.9.
Abolish existing external.
Yes.
Okay.
So these are the issues that
review.
They have reduced into law. and for which reason I support the very provision that they have a problem with, that is 80. Listen to what they say. For the purposes of this act, a farm on which cocoa is cultivated, whether the farm is on a stool land, scale land, family land, clan land, private land, or public land, is a protected farm. Why not? Because we agree.
You think it is fair?
It is fair. We agree. Because cocoa is a cash crop. It's something that the country depends on. So the mere fact that you are the cocoa farmer does not mean that it belongs to you alone.
So it's not like any other crop?
It's not like any other. It's not like tomato. It's not like pepper. It is a cash crop. And so for that matter, it becomes a national security product that you must protect it. So you must put in place laws. What my brother Ross was saying has also been taken care of. Read 81. A person shall not destroy, uproot, damage, or fell a cocoa tree except for the purposes of rehabilitation. He was making the point that if there is a swollen shoot disease and the person wants to remove the tree, why must the person have problems? The law takes care of it. That if you are rehabilitating, you are not going to be prosecuted. And for me, if that is the concern, then there is no issue. My only issue with the cocoa sector, and my brother Jerome is sitting here, that he must go and tell his boss Randiabe is that 2023-2024 crop season, we were told that 333,767 metric tons of cocoa were not accounted for. We were not able to supply. Yet the money that were given to us, human beings conceived for 9 months, had dissipated. This one we started with corruption. Multiply that 333,000 by 767 by $2,600. And let's see how much people took away.
300 and what?
333,767
333,767
times 2,600.
767
times 2,600.
Times 2,600.
Yes. How much is that?
86.7 million.
No, you remove one. No, add 1 0. Okay. Hey, you also want to do proper auditing here?
Okay. 867.7 million.
867 million.
Is it USD or
USD? Because at that time they had, this forward.
So Randy Abe said this is missing.
It's not Randy Abe saying. Their own report says this money is missing.
And you're asking where is it?
You know, we were shouting on top of our roof with the 19 million with the US embassy. This is almost $1 billion. That is in the pockets of individuals, the actual administration that went away. And if as a new administration, you are not dealing with this matter, then I have a problem. I also end by saying that the people of Hohoi, Jerome, go and tell your management that they are not happy with the way and manner you are dealing with them. That they have not been paid for the cocoa beans. I understand there's a confusion. Resolve it fast.
They are not paying, they're being.
I understand there's a confusion between two license buying companies, and for which reason the matter.
So some section of the farmers are stranded.
No, are stranded in Hohoi. As we speak, yesterday they attempted demonstrating. So some of them were calling. You have to resolve the matter very fast and go and pay them. But with this, there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Some people want to be seen to be talking about a policy. Other than that, we have been managing. They have no issue. We have been managing that sector with status, with subsidiary legislation, with administrative policies. Remember when we started our cocoa, the Cocoa Act of PNDC Law 81. It was only Cocoa Board that was supposed to buy cocoa. But from the 1992s, we have been having licensed buying companies, private ones, who are there. So if we don't legislate this, how will you manage the sector? And let me also say that MPP has not been vindicated on any LGBTQ matter. If there is anybody that will be accused, I'm coming. If there is anybody that will be accused, he brought it in. That will be accused of LGBT having not been signed or having not been Speaker Babin. I don't know where he brought that in from.
Because he finds favor with the position.
Which one is the favor? Which one is wrong with the law?
Are you okay with all the provisions?
The children of this kind, there are more children one day will accuse Speaker Babin if the LGBTQ is not signed.
It has to be signed.
It has to. What is wrong with that?
Why?
Yes, because there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. We will not allow men and men to sleep. We will not allow women and women to sleep. What are you talking about? Your party, you want equalization. Because your party failed to sign, you are also praying that these people also not sign it. And give me just one. Give me just one.
For example, the sentencing regime.
What is wrong with
it? It has been so lowered that it will even
Your people, no, that's not your position. Your position.
What we are telling you, I'm sitting here.
So the MPP has not been vindicated on the LGBTQ with the cocoa. It's a step in the right direction.
But the argument he makes is that it's not the same bill.
Which one? His minority leader that spoke said that instead of putting people behind bars, they must be given sweeping and other things so that they will refrain. That is what the same thing as he is. Non-custodial. That's what he said. That's why you are conflicting your minority leader here.
Just under 1 minute, let me address something that lawyer also said. I mean, in relation to the registration of farmers and then farmers. You see, what the provision says is that if you want to engage in a commercial farming, or even the pictures of it, you need to be registered. And I really cannot come to terms with it. Where from the difficulty in this? Because the provision is just stating that if you want to engage in any commercial farming activity of cocoa, you come and then you do what? You register, because under CMS, that is Cocoa Management System, we have registered all our cocoa farmers and farms, and based on that, we make projections or predictions for the next season.
Jerome, thank you very much. Jerome, you work with the corporate.
What about the
Hallway people? They've been there. If you go on TikTok, they are in front of the purchasing house or office, and they are complaining. When do you intend paying them, Jerome? Cocoa board.
Yeah, so the Hallway issue, it is not an issue about.
And it's not only Hallway. They are parts of the region now.
No, so it's not the issue about liquidity or money issue. But what happened was that, I mean, two LBCs, all right? They are torn between two LBCs. They are fighting over who owns the cocoa being purchased.
How are you resolving their issues?
Now a committee has been set up by Cocoa Board, and their report, I'm told their report has been presented to management for the recommendation to be implemented. So I am very sure that by the end of this week, that matter will be resolved. And this is about just 4,500 bucks or so. It's just about 4,500 bucks. It is not any huge issue. Hey. But even if it is one bag, hold on. No, hold on. So what I'm saying
is it just 4,500?
No, I said in the context that
corporate affairs is it just 4,000? But you collect small, then you get a bigger.
No.
Jerome, thank you very much.
I said in the context that if you have purchased over 700,000 metric tons, but I have accepted that even if it is one bag, we need to make payment. That's the impression. But the impression being created.
What you should have said was that you value. Even though this
maintain that, but what I'm saying is, no, I do. But what I'm saying is that the impression being created on this table, as though the amount involved.
So what he's trying to say is that they have bought more than 700,000. But I'm saying that they must pay them immediately.
How many bags have you bought so far? Have you exceeded your target, or where have you reached?
So far, we've crossed over 700,000 metric tons.
So the percentage target for the year, where have you reached? Because this
we have exceeded, because we projected about 650,000 metric tons, and we have exceeded. Hold on.
And for the minor season,
you see, look, there are certain reasons.
Early morning when you come here, yes, bombard me. You see how they are giving it.
There are certain communications I don't even want to say for the public to know, because I've explained to you.
Jerome, thank you.
Jerome has done a good job.
Fantastic guy. I like him. He's on top of his job. He didn't want to go into the politics of the audit, so that was also good. Okay, gentlemen. Lawyer Usu, I thought you are calm, man. You are not calm.
So you want to clap for you?
So Jerome Usu, Jerome Sam. Okay, works with Cocoa Board. Public affairs. Is it public affairs?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you as well. Yesterday I saw you as well. Splendid job you did yesterday on agenda.
Hey, no, he has done a good job. He has done a good job.
He did. He knows how to communicate. And so, Dr. Zato, thank you as well. How are the people of Sisala East? Are they fine?
Oh, no, they are not. They can't afford fertilizer.
When would you say something is right?
No, if it is right, I'll tell you it's right.
The only thing that is not right.
Lawyer Usu, thank you. What's your constituency?
I'm from the Dome Kwabenya constituency.
Oh, just yet. Dome Kwabenya, who is the MP there?
He's the one-time MP, Akurugu, and we are taking her out in 2020.
Okay, so you are taking
back.
The only problem in Sisala is that Zato, the album that they are going to use in conducting this has been infiltrated, has been duped. has been compromised. So my brother doesn't
he
know
didn't
whether...
get it during the
no,
elections.
when he goes...
Okay, let me read some comments. Let me read some comments.
His only hope is
Let me say good morning to you, Edmond P.S. Morgan Orchard. Good morning to you as well. And then Jerry Vincent, I wish you all the best for the day. And Charles Ejanim has this message. He said, okay, I've seen your, okay, you said interesting discussions so far. Charles Ejanim, thank you so much. And then also Daniel Odro. Daniel Odro says, please ask the doctor that what he wants to be changed in the law. He should mention them. But my name, okay, so I've mentioned your name. You observe that they are not able to give a better option to which provision they think should be expunged. We have rehabilitated farms for farmers at no cost to them, only for the farmers to give them out to galamseers after it started fruiting. Roland, yourself, don't you support this bill to prevent this tendency? And Daniel Odro, thank you for the message as well. Money, good morning to you. And you said, please tell Solo that when I come from the UK, I need to have a special meeting with him. Money lives in the UK.
Good morning
he says
to
that
him.
You have a meeting with you.
Yes, Danaya York and...
okay, Mr. Fred... Yamole.
I love the name.
Mr. Fred Ampo, good morning to you. Says, I want to ask a question. If I grow rubber trees on my land, can I cut the trees without being faulted by the Forestry Commission?
That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. I mean, it settles the matter.
Yeah. And then Ejay Boatma in Inshaeso Kumase says that for those of us who come from cocoa growing families, it is a concern when I want to use my family land for any other purpose and I have to go through processes. And we know that Ghana bureaucracy can extend to such a nature that by the time you finish, things have gone wrong. So that is what I don't like galamsey, but at the end of the day, farmers should be compelled to use what they want their lands to be used for. And then Mama Pu of the Asogli State says, okay, you are inviting me to the Yam Festival in Ho. Okay, I'll be there. And then we have more comments coming through. Simon Perez says that, please ask Dr. Zato, was he in the country during the MPP regime when the MPs like Dr. Yu and Co. Telling people to do galamsey? For that matter, people are cutting down their trees. And that why didn't he say anything about it when the MPP was in power? And Sherry Giovanni says that when will we wake up to news that Ghanaian officials were offered bribe and they rejected it? Every day from one bribery and fraudulent scandals to another. But TV3 is taking the climate talks to the Upper East region. And as part of the TV3 Climate Talks 2026, the coverage is heading to Bolga for an important conversation this morning on climate-driven migration and its impact on communities in Ghana's Upper East region. And the discussions will examine how changing weather patterns, prolonged dry seasons, and the effect of climate change are all affecting livelihoods, particularly agriculture, and how these challenges are influencing migration and the search for better opportunities. So please go to the Akayet Hotel. Our team is there. We're having this big climate change talk. And we're going to have Ambassador, or His Excellency Frederick Langton, who is going to be with us this morning. And it's themed Building Climate Security Resilience in Ghana. And it's happening just in the beginning of the next hour, 10 a.m. But we are already there. So if you are in Bolga, please, and you are interested in the subject matter, make sure that you go to the Akayet Hotel right now. Be there. We'll be going live from 10 o'clock. Jerome is still talking about Cocoa Ball while he's not on camera. No problem. Thank you, Jerome. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Lawyer Usu and Solo. Good to see you once again. All right, what was it? Find a bag. Find it.